Pablo López is, of course, here, and he joins us now via Ballpark Cam. Ask him what?
What kind of deodorant he wears.
Pablo, what kind of deodorant for you, my man?
I go with the usual Old Spice. We can find it in every single locker room around the big league.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Pretty
That's what
easy
you want to
choice.
see. Old Spice,
That's
just
old
keep it simple, and you know it's going to work. Hey, you were doing your work on opening day against the Kansas City Royals. I read after the game where you said, you give up the early home run, and that your catcher, Ryan Jeffers, played a big part in getting you back, that he gave you some mental cues. What can you tell us about that and how that helps you?
Yeah, no, obviously, I feel like the pitcher-catcher relationship is one of the most important ones, like in baseball. Like, they get to catch our bullpens, they get to play catch with us, they get to really, see you from a whole different perspective. So just the way that he knows, how I work, the things that I need to see from him, the things that I need to be told sometimes, just really what gets me, gets me back on track. He just, after I give up the homer, I get the ball back, I just stare at him, and he just gives me one of these, just take a deep breath and you and me right here, right now. So those are the kind of things that I know is just I'm back on the mound, take it one pitch at a time, and solo homers, as much as they're not ideal, you never want to give them up. You get to start, no one on base,
right.
next batter starts 0-0, so you just go back at it.
Hey, Pablo, jumping off that, obviously opening day starter last year in the postseason, you have made this ascension from the Marlins to now, I believe that you are a true number one. In your mind, does it change? And Al, you could probably answer this as well. Does it change kind of how you think or how you're perceived in the game when you step on the mound?
I think so, man. And it gives you this tremendous amount of confidence. If so many people believe it, then you have to start believing it yourself. So it allows me to be on the mound, projecting myself with more confidence. Keeping myself with more composure, and it's just showing that when I'm on that mound, I'm trying to set the rhythm, I'm trying to set the tempo of the game. There's no action until I throw the baseball. So I have to make sure that I let everyone know that everything is on my time and on my tempo. If I believe that myself, I know that every pitch is going to have more confidence, it's going to have more conviction, and I'm getting in that mentality, in that mindset that I'm going to attack the zone with conviction, and a good result's going to happen.
I was thinking October, Pablo, as well, because watching you last postseason was a complete joy. And D-Row always says this: once you get a taste of the postseason, that's all you can think about it. And you had it at the highest level. When you look back on that, what do you take from that? What is the vivid memory for you?
No, like you say, you want to replicate that feeling. You want to experience it again. You get a taste of it. And unfortunately, it was cut short for us. So we showed up to camp this year wanting to, make that happen again. But how can we extend it for an extra 3 or 4 weeks, because that would mean that we would be the last team standing. But, I feel like being in that situation where every single pitch matters, any pitch can change the outcome of the game, that just made me think about being even more competitive than I'm usually on the mound. If I have this plan, I need to make sure that I execute it, and then not force things, letting your abilities take over. I feel like that's usually the best neurological way to look at it. If you let your abilities take over instead of giving yourself instructions on the mound, just trust yourself, let the flow of things allow you to do the rest.
Boy, I love what you're saying, Pablo, because you're at one of the ground zeros for analytics, right? The sabermetric community, that the Twins have done a great job. And what you're saying is not very analytical. It's based on your mindset, confidence, conviction, all great words. But here, I want to take it back a little bit and get in the weeds, because I loved your changeup. I loved your stuff. I agree with D-Row. You're a front-end guy in all of baseball, maybe Cy Young. But you got to the Twins. I always marveled at guys with plus fastballs with great changeups, and you had that. Pete Mackey comes in as a pitching coach and sat you down and said, look, you have stuff that goes into a righty. You got a changeup right on right. You really don't have anything that goes away. What was that conversation like? Because now you're throwing a slider. I still call it a slider. They call it sweepers what they want. It's a slider. Take us into that.
Yeah, you talk about being analytical, and Pete Mackey is just so knowledgeable when it comes to pitching, the way he can break your mechanics down, the way he can break your arsenal, the way that he can explain to you how every pitch that you throw complements each other. It's very eye-opening for me, and I've always been very open to those conversations. Like I went into the conversation with an open mind, knowing that they were explaining to me an opportunity to get better. So yeah, like you said, like I get to the Twins and I have the north with the fastball, I have the south with the curveball, and I got the east with the two-seam fastball and the changeup. But I never really had the west. I tinkered with a cutter in Miami. It was very inconsistent. Didn't have like that much movement. So once they explained to me how that could like really open up new doors for me, new opportunities to put myself in a situation where I can go with a strikeout. Put myself in a situation where like now I'm using every single part, every single inch of the plate of the zone. So like that conversation really got to me because when like the selling point is success. Like you get into the room with that conversation with the pitching coaches, the analytics department, and like they're showing you how you can benefit from these things, and you just have to buy into the philosophy. You have to buy into the things that they're trying to teach you and how they're trying to teach you. But yeah, like I feel like having that pitch to go that way not only helped me explore that side of the play, but then like you start having guys looking over the play, and then you can mess with like the other part of the play. Like when you have a guy looking outside a lot, then you can like come back in with the stuff that I've been doing for so long. So like then you start just like setting the tone of like how you're gonna move the ball around all around the zone.
All right, real quick, because I wanted to talk about your changeup grip. Do you have a baseball there?
I always have a baseball.
I appreciate it.
I learned that from
I know
Sonny
you were
Gray.
first pitcher since Johan Santana, who was like your idol as a kid, right? Johan, great Minnesota Twin pitcher and also Mets. Show us your changeup. But now that you're throwing this slider, and you explained it excellent, maybe you could show us that different grip from a curveball.
Yeah, so like my changeup is just, my usual two-seam changeup. Like it's a two-seam grip. I just move and I throw it with my middle finger and my ring finger.
Do you ever worry, Pablo, real quick? Do you ever worry holding it like that it's going to cut on you?
You know what? They say that if it cuts, the seams are catching the right way. Then it's just a matter of like either changing the ball, they say, or then just throwing it a little harder. But if you throw like a two-seam fastball or a two-seam changeup and it cuts, the seams are actually in the right position, then you just have to like throw it harder. But it does cut sometimes, or you yank it.
That's good. That's good.
But yeah,
stuff.
it's a two-seam changeup right here. Just let the work, let the grip do it for you. Nice and loose wrist, and then the slider or sweeper. It's kind of like the changeup. It's a seam shifted wake pitch. I hold it this way, so like I'm able.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a half spike, but then you throw it hard. You don't really mess too much with your hand position. Like with a curveball, you think this way. Mm-hmm. Like with the sweeper, you like throw it, and then like the seams are gonna catch, and then like the air, the friction's gonna make it sweep or slide towards my glove side.
You guys sit there and like, hey, do you sit there and stretch out your fingers on the bench with the baseball?
I do that.
Splits.
I do that a lot too.
You do.
It seems like it just seems like you're getting to parts no one else can get to.
Well, no, I don't sit and do this too much because I don't throw that.
Yep.
But like I'm
That's
always
next.
just making sure that I get the right spot for my spike, like where I want it, like where I want my middle finger to be. Like I always want it to be like I want to feel the seam, but also feel some of the ball. And then the curveball's just like right on the horseshoe. And then it's all about my hand position I release. Like I tell myself that I'm going to hit the catcher with this part of my hand because then that puts me in the position where I can feel the ball go that way.
Pablo, honestly, they
stuff.
could cut this off in every coach in America.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. I do want to add something. Based on Scouting Report, and it's very comprehensive, how much do you pitch to your strength or how much do you pitch to a hitter's weakness?
I pitch more to my strengths. Early on in my career, I used to put a lot of information in my head, and the way I used to do reports was places I needed to avoid or things the hitters were good at. So that would always put me on like a negative mentality of like, okay, don't throw it here, don't throw this. Then I started doing my reports on places I can go with, or like the things I can get him out with. And then just that put me in a whole different perspective and like in a more aggressive mindset.
You got it, Pablo.
So good, man.
You got it, dude.
Hey, Pablo, we'll get you out of here on this
Joy.
one. I mentioned that Joe Ross is getting the start for the Brewers, and this is a game. I mean, he hasn't appeared in a big league game since August of 2021. Chris Paddock, who we saw in the bullpen last year, he's getting his first start for you guys since May of 2022. What does it mean to see him back on the mound as a starter, and what does he mean for your team moving forward?
I'm excited. Obviously, what he showed last year coming from the pen, the last 2 weeks of the season, plus the playoffs, electric. And I'd seen Paddock pitch for a while with the Padres, and, he's a completely different person when he's on the mound. Like, he's a bulldog on the mound. He competes, and, getting to really know him and interact with him during spring training, getting to watch his bullpens, like, he's very specific, very thorough with his routine, with the things that he wants to accomplish. So, like, I'm excited to get to see him, like, start a game for us for the first time in a long time, and then just to see everything he works for translating to the game. He's very specific. He wants to get better. He takes his bullpen as seriously as I've seen people. So, like, he's always looking to help the team and get better. So I can't wait to watch him, and then I know I'm going to have the rest of the year to continue doing that.
All right, one more serious question. What did we go, breakfast burrito? Did we go pancakes? What did we go for breakfast today?
Today I went with 4 fried eggs over hard.
Yeah.
I went with a blueberry pancake for sure, and I get a little oatmeal action going.
Oatmeal's a scam. It's going to spike the blood sugar. You can get off
No,
that.
but
I'm just giving him a little help.
all right.
He just changed the lives of how many kids?
A lot of kids. Hey, if you're a parent or you got a young ball player in the house, definitely just have them watch this little interview here with one of our favorites. Pablo, great stuff as always, man. We appreciate the time. Best of luck tomorrow when you get to start against the Guardians.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time.
You got it.
Pablo, what do you do for fun? I need to know. I need to know more about you.
He's pitching, Lauren.
No, it's not a good question.
I like playing pickleball,
Okay.
and I like flying my drone.
I like that.
Good. See, we didn't know about that.
I didn't know
we
that.
didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Pablo, thanks
Yeah.
again, man. Best of luck to you.
All right, thank you, guys.
You got it.
Oh, my God.
What a sweetheart,
Seriously?
right?
I hope
He's always insightful, thoughtful, giving great answers and perspectives. Really good stuff.
He said he hopes he wins Cy Young. J-Mac, do we have it? Because two people on this couch,
I know.
we picked it.
You picked it. Here it is. Check it out. This is from opening day.
I want your AL MVP and Cy Young and NL MVP and Cy Young.
I'm going to go out on a little bit of a limb here. I'm going to go Pablo Lopez.
This is good.
I love the strikeout stuff.
I picked him too.
Did you really? He's added a sweeper, I saw. Read an awesome article on The Athletic. We're going to have to skybox that at some point.
Pablo Lopez, for me, he is a star. Last year in the postseason, he was electric, carrying that.
All right, I'm sorry. I got to add in.
This is a love fest, by the way.
I actually picked him as well.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what we do on the show.
Who did I pick?
We love on the players.
Love on the player.
Probably some Astro.
I don't know.
No, he didn't know. He is.
It wasn't an accident.
Don't say that word on this couch right now.
I really wonder. We'll figure it out during the break. I'm
I really
wondering who I
wonder.
picked.
It was 4 days ago.
Yeah. Last week.